Howdy! Welcome back to the Rhinestone Roper place. Today we're going to talk about spin-cocking and fanning the Winchester 94. But first, take a moment to subscribe, leave a comment, and share. I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's make this quick. Get to spin-cocking this puppy. You need about 3 things. First, you need a Winchester 94. Then, you need a big loop lever. You can order those things online and they cost, I don't know, 30 to 40 bucks. I haven't bought one recently, but I bought this a while ago. If you look at my video on assembly of the Winchester 94, you can see how to take this apart, and it'll be pretty obvious how to replace the original lever with the big loop lever. Next, you need the right ammunition. What we're talking about is what kind of blanks to use. And if you're going to do this kind of stuff with your rifle, you're probably not shooting live rounds. You're probably doing some reenacting or a Wild West show. There's 3 different kinds of blanks. One is crimped. These are not reusable, and they feed into the gun fairly well. The other is just tapered. I prefer these because you can reload those puppies. You buy your own gunpowder. You can put whatever kind of gunpowder in it you want. Use a toilet paper wad, cramp it down in there, and that tapered end there feeds into the chamber pretty well. The only problem with these is after a while that end will blow out straight. So I had to have a die made that would recrimp those puppies, and now I can reuse them. The best kind of ammo to get is crimped style, but has a long tapered nose on it, as opposed to this one. This long tapered point feeds into the gun the very best. In order to find these needle nose tapered crimped rounds, you might have to contact your local cowboy mounted shooter. The mounted shooters use these things because they need to, while they're riding those horses, they got to cock these rifles. They want to make sure it goes in. These other 2 will work if you cock that rifle appropriately. First, let's talk about fanning the rifle. To start with, let's just acknowledge that what we're doing is we're trying to mimic the rifleman. His rifle was modified in 2 ways. One was with the big loop lever, so he could spin cock it. The other was a set screw in the lever that automatically hit the trigger every time we brought that down. Now you can't do both of those at the same time, because when you spin cock your rifle, it comes around here and it closes right here, so the gun goes off. At the beginning of the rifleman, you might see him go bam, 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 bam. He shoots 12 rounds, that's all it holds, and then he spins cock it and kicks the last shell out. But you can use the same rifle, just take your set screw out for the shows where you want to spin cock it and shoot, spin cock it and shoot. Or if you want to do the fast deal, then you use your set screw. Now I'm no machinist, so there might be a more professional way to do this, but I've done this with about a half a dozen rifles, and every one of them worked just fine. And this is what I did. I estimated the angle, took a drill tap and die outfit with that kind of small gauge screw there. I estimated the angle of the hole. I drilled the hole in there, and then I just bent that screw so it would hit that trigger, and when I slam that down in, it's enough pressure to set the gun off. It has to be able to close, so it can't touch the trigger too quick, but as you touches it right there, as you slam it in there, it trips that hammer. One more alteration you'll need to turn this into a fanning rifle. Is you'll need to remove that spring right there. What this is a safety. You can't pull the trigger on this gun until that lever comes down all the way and presses that spring out of the way for your trigger. And since this lever coming down is what trips the hammer, you need to get that safety out of the way. So if you disassemble your gun, take the stock off, you'll see where the screw is for that long spring. think it's right back here. All right, let's get back to spin cocking. As you can see, there's different lengths of barrel you can get on these rifles. I believe this one is called the Trapper. This one is called the Legacy. The Trapper is easier to spin cock because it's shorter. One issue you got with these rifles is that sight right there. As you can imagine, that's a sharp little puppy. If you don't get this spun correctly, that sight will come and hit you right there. It will tear your shirt and it will cut your skin. Most guys I've talked to that have included spin cocking or Winchesters in their shows, we've all got little scars right here. I've got 2 scars right there where Winchesters have cut. So when you're learning this, you might wear a Levi jacket, some old jacket that you don't care if it gets torn, or a heavy shirt that you don't care about. But a jacket's better. And you should also wear a hat, because if something goes wrong, you spin cock this thing and the shell doesn't feed correctly, then your lever won't close. And that means you're kind of floating out here in no man's land, not knowing where this gun is going. I've never been hit in the face by the end of this barrel, but I've had to tuck my head a little bit and let my hat take the blow. So I always wear a hat and I concentrate when I do this. So what we're going to do are to have 3 different motions. The first motion is to cock the gun. And you want to get that gun cocked all the way before you spin the rifle, because the mechanisms of your feeding that shell into your barrel, that shell right now is grabbed. It's grabbed nice and solid. If you don't open that all the way, then that shell will float out and it won't feed. And if your shell doesn't feed, then this barrel's coming around, you don't know where it's going. So you cock it all the way out, and then you bring your gun around. Now that fed just right. Partially because I was using the best shell. Your first objective is to get that gate open. The second is to bring the barrel around, stretch your arm out as far as it'll go, so that barrel points right at your face. Stays in line with your face, not wobbling out the sides. And if it's in line with your face, that's not going to hit your shoulder. So bring it towards your face. You might test this with your rifle first. Make sure your arm is long enough. Now, Chuck Connors used the long barrel on his. He had long arms, he made it look easy. Well, of course, it's not easy. Your first motion is to cock that gun, bring it around, and as it comes up, you want to snap it shut. Your gun will want to just do it lazily, nice and easy. And that seems like it'd be the best, but it's not quite the best, especially if you're using one of these other shells. You cock it nice and strong to start with. That shell is grabbed, it looks like it's going in there. Now as you spin it around, you get about a half cock. Now that thing's rattling a little bit. And if this end starts to come out, it'll either fall out all the way or it'll get jammed and your gate won't close. And it's going to be hard to control the end of your gun. So, you jam it open, take a spin as it's coming around, give it a little flick, and get that closed, nice and solid. Close it fast so it doesn't float around in this half cock for a fraction of a second. You don't even want a fraction of a second to pass. Cock it, bring it around, and get her cocked. It's your best chance of having this all come out smoothly. If you use 2 hands to start with, you can get that gun cocked right away with your hand still on the forearm here. Cock it, and then bring it around. If you're not using 2 hands on it, you got to give it a little lift and then cock it and bring it around. One thing you might also do before you cock it, makes it easier to get that thing cocked to start with, is to pull your hammer back beforehand. Okay, we'll try with our longer gun here. I'll go ahead and cock it first. Give it a little lift, snap it open, bring it around, close it nice and quick on the upside. I have my vest on. My gun's wanting to jam up today. It didn't get cocked. Since it didn't get cocked, I took that right in the chest. But on this rifle, since the long barrel, this is the one that cuts me, I kind of took the edge off that back side of that sight. It's not as sharp as it was. And consequently, it didn't tear my vest. Now it's true that your first motion is getting this out quickly before you start spinning your rifle. But on the other hand, you big strong guys come out here and just snap it and use all your strength. There's a problem with that also. And that is this link right here attaches to your locking bolt. Pulls that locking bolt down out of the way so this bolt could come back. But if you use all your force snapping that thing open, those little protrusions right there that hook onto your locking bolt will break off and you'll have to replace your link. Maybe that's inevitable. But to postpone the inevitable, just use the force that's necessary to snap that out and bring the gun around. That's it right there. Have fun with your rifle. Wear a vest or a jacket to start with. Practice two-handed to start with, and then work up to one hand. Recognize that this setup with that set screw, when it's loaded with blanks, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. Someone comes along, cocks that thing, bring it down, they're going to shoot. So you never want to put live rounds. I wouldn't have live rounds anywhere near this gun. And even with blanks, it's a dangerous gun. Thanks for coming. I enjoyed my time with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you got any questions, leave a comment. I'd love to hear what your concerns are. If you got any tips, I can learn from you also. Thanks a lot. Press like and share. We'll see you next time.